Hi, I'm Mary Kay Marsden, and welcome to How Do You Get It Out There? Interviewing Beth Blatt today over at Cafe Mole on Allen Street in New York City. Welcome, Beth.
Thank you.
Thanks for hanging out with me in the Latin restaurant.
On a rainy day.
On a rainy New York day. My background a little bit is that I come from a background of television and software. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm also involved in helping nonprofits get their message out there. And Beth, tell me a little bit about you.
I have a checkered past, I must say. I know. I started in advertising. Then I quickly segued into theater. I was a musical performer. Took me to Asia, where I began my writing career. Then I started writing musicals. And it's through that I've come to Hope Sings.
So let's tell the audience, what is Hope Sings?
Hope Sings is a music project to benefit microfinance. What we're doing is we're getting artists to write songs inspired by the true stories of people whose lives have been transformed in huge ways by these very small microloans. So we're focusing on women because most microloans go to women.
Yeah.
75 to 85% go to women. We also made a choice to focus on Latin America first. And I also love the notion of doing a group of songs that were united by a kind of feel, a Latin feel, and yet there's a huge range of sounds, all the way from regional Mexican down to Brazilian to Argentinian music. So I thought it would make a fabulous sounding collection of songs. Okay. This is where the idea came. I write musicals, and musicals take forever to write. And I was sitting on the beach being really dissatisfied with that and wanting to be up to something bigger with my writing skills. And I did nothing that entire week. I listened to music, I meditated, I walked on the beach, and I read one magazine. And in that magazine, there was an article about a woman playwright who had been inspired by the story of a woman in Pakistan who'd been really abused by the government but took the government on. And the woman was asked by this woman's organization what she thought of this speech by this woman, and the playwright said, it was really great, but it would have been even better if a playwright had gotten a hold of it. So this woman was inspired to get 7 playwrights to interview 7 women of power around the world, and they wove it into a show called 7. And I thought, why can't I do that with songs? Can I tell these stories of power and inspiration? And that's what musical theater songs do. They're stories of change and inspiration. And I happened the next week to go to a dinner party where my friends were talking about Kiva. Okay. And they talked about going online and finding Maria who needed $100 and loaning Maria $100 so that she could buy an oven and change her life. And I thought, those are my stories. So within like 2 weeks, the idea had come to me.
When you started talking to me at Le Pain Quotidien about Hope Sings, what I recognized was that there's this huge opportunity for women to support women in changing the lives of women. Yeah. And really my passion, while I mentioned my background, my passion is really about how do we end gender inequality? And when we attack that, I think there's the opportunity to end poverty. So lots of people have great ideas, and then they go to bed and the great idea disappears and life creeps in. So how do you stay motivated? I mean, you bumped up against everything that you bump up against when you're starting a new project or a new company or a new idea. So what do you do? How do you keep going?
This was a situation where the universe so affirmed me. At every step of the way, it was just going, you go girl, you go girl. Everybody I talked to about the project, even when it wasn't fully formed in my head, said, wow, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a great idea. And that kind of thing, just speaking it, I think, makes it true. I think the word precedes the reality sometimes, and it was definitely true for me with Hope Sings. And even little things like last week I told Mary Kay before, I sent a money order to Guatemala, and the company, which is called Zoom, is sort of a competitor to Western Union, but very much a scrappy upstart. So they were so fabulous, they called me the minute I sent my money order to go, how'd it go? And I said, you guys are so fabulous, I should be talking to you and not this other person to be my sponsor. And they said, oh, okay. And they sent it to the head of marketing. The head of marketing sent it to the head of advertising. The advertising sent it to the Latin American person. And this woman has now volunteered to do my Latin American marketing plan.
Yeah. Fantastic.
You know, it's just that sort of putting it out there and getting so much back. It's just been affirmation after affirmation.
See, and I think that's one of the key things that people forget when they're starting an idea, right? You just have to talk about it and talk about it. The whole theme for our show is how do you get it out there? Well, you have to put the voice on it, you know, and I've been working with you, is it 6 months
Just
now?
about, yeah.
And you're unstoppable. Like, I give you a little bit of coaching and I say, pick up the phone and call them. And then you call me back and you go, I picked up the phone and I called them and damn, they answered, you know. It's like, oh, we were ready for voicemail.
Because I put it on a Post-it. It says, call people, call people. I'm big on the Post-its on my computer right now.
But a lot of companies and a lot of entrepreneurs are afraid of just powerfully talking about what they see possible, right? And I think mostly what stops people is themselves. Right? And just having the conversations everywhere we go, over and over, and asking.
Well, you know, you're big on a couple of things, two things that come through really clearly. One is asking. Being direct and asking for what you want in a non-apologetic, and if somebody says no, they say no.
That's right.
But at least you asked. And the other thing to keep in mind for me is it is a conversation. Every single person I talk to, I don't have to have all the answers. When I call a sponsor, I'm having a conversation saying this is what I'm up to. I don't have to know everything about their business.
Yep.
I have to know everything about what I'm up to and be open to the possibility that lives in that conversation.
Yep.
And not go, I've got to be perfect, I've got to be totally buttoned up, which is a very advertising mindset, which is incredibly limiting because it keeps you from calling people because you'll never be perfect before you pick up the phone.
Well, the other thing is it doesn't let them contribute. So if you come in with your little black box and it's already set, and then you say, well, do you want the black box, yes or no? There's no place for people to add and contribute. If you just come in and say, here's what I got, here's what I need. Now, how do you envision contributing? It creates an opening for people of all types.
Well, it's funny, when I first, a big moment for me was when I realized, you know, you get these little flashes of insight, you're like, oh, why didn't I think of that? I'm a writer, I'm a member of a music rights organization called BMI, which is one of the 2 large performing rights organizations. And I'm a writer with BMI. So it finally dawned on me, why don't I call the head of musical theater and have her introduce me to the Latin music person? Duh. So I did, and I sent an email. I met the man 2 hours later. He is now on the board with us. I sat down with him, and I basically gave him 3 sentences, and he said, this is huge. He goes, this is what you're going to do. We immediately registered all the websites. He said, it's not just song, it's a video. It's not just this, it's products. And immediately it just felt like it took off in fabulous and terrifying ways.
So that's one of the things that you've done extremely well in getting it out there. You've surrounded yourself with experts, right? So you had the passion, you have the vision. You go and you get Popey from BMI, and he brings all this expertise, you know, Latin music, product packaging, things like that. You invite me in to participate, and then I've got digital marketing, video as an opportunity. Now we have the people from the ad agency helping, and your other girlfriends helping. You know, one of the things that you've done is surround yourself by experts that can help you really powerfully get it out there. There's a benefit to the artists in participating in this project, right?
What totally transforms me about the project is the notion of creating inspirational songs that inspire people to change. As we say, it's about singing stories of change to change the stories of lives. And what I aim to do is very much on a musical level, create phenomenal songs that are subversive. People don't even realize they're being inspired to action. And how we are going to take established artists and have them work with emerging artists.
And don't you think that's what makes it sustainable?
For me.
You're in your passion.
Yeah, exactly.
Dealing with other people on their passions, making a difference with these women who are pursuing their passion.
Yes, it lines up.
And music is the gateway to the soul.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how could it not work?
I asked. No, there is no way.
There is no way. My fishnets are shaking over here, baby. Don't even go there, girlfriend. Vegetarians can't get swine flu. Can you make mine spicy and help me get rid of this cold? There is a benefit to getting older.
Who's getting older?
I am. Thank you. Wrap it up. Cheeky.